We had a panel a little earlier, or a discussion a little earlier, about bringing more women into Web3. That was terrific. Now we're going to go deeper down that rabbit hole and talk about, how are we going to engage, more diverse, investors, collectors, artists. Let's give a hand for our next panel.
Can you use this microphone? Let's see.
Come on out.
Actually, yeah. Hello, hello. I can always be real with you. Nighttime sky paint a vivid picture. It's crisp and cold, but we already blow, so we're feeling it deep, feeling our souls. I'm on the road to redemption, telling you stuff I probably shouldn't mention, but you roll with me into my world, where the pain we feel is what makes us real. Where the pain we feel is what makes us real, so real.
Good morning, everyone. All right, come on. Good morning, everyone. Woo! Thank you guys for being rock stars and coming out early this morning, and we really appreciate you. My name is Florcy Morisset. I'm an educator, an NFT, Web3 business strategist, and consultant. I am dedicated to onboarding women and diverse creatives in the space. I'm super excited and stoked about this amazing panel that I'm moderating today. We're going to discuss diverse artists, how to engage diverse artists and collectors in the Web3 space. Diversity and inclusion in today's ever-evolving, complex market goes beyond gender and race. Diversity and inclusion embraces diversity of thought, functional discipline, physical ability, and culture across the globe. Today, we have a diverse, multi-hyphenated panel that is reflective of our growing NFT Web3 community and space. Please pull up a seat to our proverbial table and welcome our panelists with a warm round of applause. So we don't have much time, so I'd love to just jump right in. Can you each please introduce yourselves, your name, your project, and explain how you're embracing and tackling diversity and inclusion in your work? May.
Oh. Hi, everybody. My name is May. I am originally from Kenya, but I live between Pittsburgh, PA, and also Kitale, Kenya. I'm a farm girl from one of the small towns in Kenya, if you've been there before. I am also a photographer and a community builder in the space. I have been in the space since May last year. And so I have learned, grown, and built community within this ecosystem that I love so much. I am part of, I'm also here as part of a member and the operations team for Cyberbat DAO, which is a collective of artists from, artists from the continent, African continent, who are on the blockchain now. And we are, the intention for the DAO is, it is structured as a DAO, the intention for the DAO is to create more opportunities and increase opportunities for us to be represented in the space, and also for artists to be able to compete with the globe as peers in this ecosystem, because there's a lot of talent that comes from Africa, there's a lot of good that's coming out of there, but we've always been left out of other conversations, but this is one place where we want to sit on the table. We are creating those tables ourselves if we have to, but we want to be part of that, the decision making, and not just the aftermath of what's going on in the space. So we're here, And we are looking to collaborate and connect and be a part of what this is, because we have a lot to bring to and add value into the space as well. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Wayne Chang, a lifelong artist and painter. I'm currently the general manager at Saatchi Arts, a large online marketplace for original art. We have thousands of artists from over 100 countries around the world. Our mission has always been to support artists from different backgrounds and help tell the stories that aren't told often enough. And that we back that up, right, that mission. The drop we did, our last drop, was the other avatars, 2,500 original avatars. I see at least one of our artists here today. One-of-one originals, 154 artists, which is a huge feat for one drop. We're really proud to say half women, over 35 countries. It was done at a massive scale, but we wanted to make a huge splash and support as many artists and creators as possible. A lot of traditional physical artists we brought over into the NFT space, basically taught them blockchain, NFT, how to create a wallet, and so we're really proud of that fact. And then really, every drop, every project that we consider and plan out, we pass it through the same lens, and we always consider, and we always make sure that we check the right boxes, proper inclusion and fair representation, and so we're really proud of that fact. Yeah.
Thank you, Wayne. Xander?
Hello, hello.
Let's clap. We can clap for him.
Thank you.
Hello, hello. My name is Xander Sims, creatively known as Xander Love. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a creative technologist, an artist, and an entrepreneur. What I'm doing in this space currently is creating video content, specifically short-form video, abstract for brands in the Web3 and Metaverse ecosystem. I have a really pleasure of collaborating with brands around the ecosystem to create amazing content, and also I've partnered with technology companies to extend the offerings to Web 2 and Web 3 companies who are curious about entering the space and need an overarching strategy. So I refer them to technology partners across AR, VR, and what else? Augmented reality, 3D, if they need a metaverse or a custom metaverse build, I have technology partners I suggest to those. And that's my commercial endeavors. Creatively, I am an advocate for the creators economy. As an artist myself, the Web3 technology, the convergence has allowed me to be able to essentially share my art with the world in ways that I never could have in completely immersive environments. So I'm very passionate about diversity, inclusion, and empowering creators by being a model of what Web3 technologies could do at a lower entry point and cost barrier.
Before we go to Ernest, can you tell us more about the piece that you performed for us?
Oh, yes, thank you. So the musical piece is from an NFT project and film, upcoming film called Cyber Dreams. And it's based around myself as an artist, X, and my basically endeavors to enter into the world, and it's through NFTs and the metaverse and Web3 that I'm able to do this. So it was incredible for the panel and all of them to empower me, the panel, to be able to share my art with you guys in New York City.
Thank you for that. Ernest.
All right, I'm Ernest Aka Ignis, and I'm a developer and executive in software, have been for about 13 years, and I'm also what Xander coined me as an ally artist. For years, I've worked in disability inclusion, diversity inclusion, and when I got into Web3 about 5-6 years ago, I noticed that there was definitely a lot of gaps in the industry. So lately, I've been working with like Mythical Games. We're getting ready to go onto the Flow blockchain, where we bring Black and disabled creators into the ecosphere from Web 2, people that have been successful or had struggles or had a story to tell. We wanted to bring them in and give them a chance to not only have the financial incentives behind it, but like with Mythical Games, this one was awesome. We worked with Dream Fury, which is Newton Lilavois, Andre Johnson, who's now with Simwin Sports, but he was with Mythical. Let's see, Seth, or Sean Keith. But all these people brought this story that meant so much to Newton because it told the story of how black families are broken apart and how they have these issues, especially here in the United States. And we were able to get that character as the first black character on a Web3 game. I think it might have been one of the first black comic book characters to get out there. And there were so many little girls and black people that loved the character and just resonated, and it empowered them and made them feel awesome. It brought a whole new group of people into Mythical. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Natalie.
Hi, my name is Natalie Trevonne, and I am a dancer, an actress. I do social media marketing for the Blind Institute of Technology, and I'm also a fashion and beauty accessibility consultant, which is how I got started in the NFT space. I was doing a lot of fashion advocacy on my social media, and actually Ernest found me and wanted to collaborate on an NFT to bring more disability representation into the space. And so we created an NFT wedding dress, which was featured at Meta Fashion Week, which made me the first disabled designer in the metaverse. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you.
I told you they were impressive. All right, I'm gonna kick the first question to you, Wayne. From your perspective, how can big brands and corporations engage more diverse artists and collectors?
Yeah, it's a great question. There isn't a magic recipe or playbook. You could certainly resort to the standard Web2 social media channels and do that legwork, reach out to artists who self-identify. You could put that effort in, but it's a little time consuming. I would say you can also connect with curators who have those relationships or platforms and services. Like Saatchi Art, we actually do have a team of curators that have those relationships with artists from different groups. And we know their style of storytelling, we know their story, we know how they self-identify. And so those are key elements in understanding and how we want to work with that brand and partner to help tell that narrative, because it's more than just social impact and doing the good thing. We also find that the way they narrate and tell that story and how it's interwoven into the brand narrative is such a key piece. And so we do that. It's a very high touch sort of custom experience that we have with that brand. And also, I would say from the collector side, we also work with a lot of collectors who are completely new to the space and have, we do a lot of onboarding and education, but naturally we find that when you bring the creators in from diverse backgrounds, naturally they spent the time nurturing their follower base and collector base, that they will have similar backgrounds and interests and they'll naturally follow. And so that's what we've seen over the years.
I think it's powerful that you guys have created the platform and you are leveraging it and extending it. So thank you for that. Ernest, how about you? I mean, as a studio, how are you guys?
I agree with Wayne. There is no magic formula. For us, it was about connecting with stories, people that had passion behind the projects. And that's normally, for us, it's been smaller names, smaller houses. We wanted to get into comic books because comics are awesome and there's so much story and relatable content to go into the gaming sector. But in order to find those really rich stories, we went to Kickstarter. We found the people that had a really good base, they had their business knowledge in check, they knew exactly what they were doing, and then we were able to help successfully integrate them into Web3 tools in a creative way.
I love going into the community. That's creative. When people say that, there are no creative or diverse artists or collectors in the space, I'm like, are you looking? And to say that you're going into Kickstarter and going to find them and empowering them and giving them funding, that's powerful. Natalie, I'm going to make the question a bit broader. From your perspective, how do you see that we can increase diversity and inclusion into entire space?
Yeah, so as amazing as it was to create an NFT wedding dress for Meta Fashion Week, a thought came to me that, hey, we're trying to bring disability representation into the space, but my community cannot access this dress, right? Like, screen readers are not accessible currently with the software that people use for NFTs. So it's like, how can we all work together to create a space that's actually inclusive? And one of the major ways is to consult with accessibility consultants, specifically people with disabilities, also accessibility engineers. I work for a technology company, which is all blind people, and we literally teach people how to use Salesforce with screen readers, but we also do accessibility audits. So it's getting with these people, collaborating, and saying, okay, how can we actually make Web3 a truly inclusive space for people with all disabilities? And like, one easy way to get started is that if you're promoting your NFT projects on social media, add alt text to your images. It takes 2 extra seconds. So if you are uploading photos, just go ahead and make a brief description about what's going on in the photo so that people who are using screen readers can participate. And as far as like actual NFTs, like a lot of us have been talking, a lot of consultants, and we're saying the future is going to be audio description, being able to embed an audio narration of what's going on with the NFT because it's a moving object and you cannot add alt text to a moving object. So it's just those little tips and tricks and really having an open mind and being able to collaborate with people that are really going to help you make your projects more inclusive.
That is amazing, Natalie. That was so many gems. If you guys did not get it, please tweet it and save it. Alt text, empower the people that you're trying to serve by hiring them, right? I think that's important in consulting with them, and so many more. All right, May, I'm gonna kick it to you. So on the flip side, how can small brands and individual artists and collectors, you know, try to, I guess, engage more artists and, I guess, collectors? I mean, it sounds easy because we play multiple roles and multiple sides, and so it's like, what's your perspective on that?
Thank you for the question. I think it's important, first of all, to put some context to where we are right now. First, what the NFT space has done is something that even governments have not been able to do. Our governments have not been able to bring people together like this. So let's just think of that first as the foundation of this space. But then the second point I also wanted to contextualize my response is we are also in the building phase of something huge that is not just for the short term, it is for the long term. And we are you being here, every one of us being here, are part of those building blocks. So for small brands and individuals who are looking to tap into the community, which is key in this space. You cannot do anything without community. So for those small brands and individuals who are looking to engage diverse artists, I have some pointers here. This is something
Give it to us. We're ready.
The key, first of all, for everything is intentionality. And that's like what Ernest was saying earlier. It's just being intentional about how you show up in the space, how you bring your brand, how you engage, how you just be intentional, put in the work. You have to make that investment in time, money, whatever, because there is no excuse anymore for not having access to people. Everyone is here. You have access to the world in this space. So you have no excuse unless you put in the work yourself. But then with that as well, be mindful of I think what people also think are like they need to think big, but with everything and with every movement, you've always got to go with the grassroots level of how you approach people. And one thing is being mindful about like time zone difference. I know many people overlook that. We should not let the US time zone be the only time zone that is being used to factor spaces or conversations that are important, because the world is sleeping at that time. That's their natural time to be asleep. Let's spread this across the time zones. If you have to have 2 conversations, one in the US time zone or with the countries in that area, then also consider the African continent, consider Asia, consider other people, like Australia. They're like 12 hours ahead of most people, at least. And so that's something that people overlook a lot. And it's important that if you want to be part of this, that we do that. If you want to be part of engaging a diverse community, a diverse artist group, that's one thing that needs to be considered. Another thing, and I'm sorry, I have my notes here, but I'll be quick. Language and finding translators. English is not the only language of communication in this world. And we need to normalize all these other languages that are represented in the space. And you have no excuse for saying that I cannot find a translator. We're here. I speak Swahili. I know my friend here, Tiwa, speaks more than just one language, right? 4 languages. I know my friend Tony, he also speaks another. So there are many people who speak a variety of languages. Ask, tweet it out, say we need translators. And for those who are hosting spaces as brands, ask in the space, is anyone, if you'd like to come up and speak and need a translator, let us know. Let us find someone in the space. I've done it. It's possible. And I think other people are able to do this too. It's not impossible in this space. Another thing is vet your wallets. Do your own vetting for yourself. Vet your wallet and also the staff that you hire. Are they diverse? Is there balance? Start with you. See what you're doing for yourself, how you're collecting and all that. Sorry.
I love that. I'm gonna pause right there, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity
Sure.
to close. But I think you gave like 3 to 4 great ones, and that's really powerful. Xander, what do you want to add to that, especially as a creative? What's your perspective?
Definitely. I think that small brands and collectors drive the industry, the art industry, a lot more than people really give credit to. We have a lot more agility. And even, for instance, Salvatore Dali, 25% of his collection was purchased by one couple. You know, arguably one of the most successful painters of all time. So those relationships that you form independently with creators, as collectors, sometimes it can support, I mean, you don't know whose career you're supporting, and especially underrepresented groups. You know, you could even start a DAO, would probably be my suggestion to both collectors and artists, to collaborate, expand, and build community with like-minded people. And it doesn't even have to be, the incentive model can come later, but I think the social aspect and the gathering of minds around Web3 art, and with, as you know, my fellow panelists have said, with the intention of engaging more diverse collectors and artists.
And I even think, you know, what NFT.NYC did, just being thoughtful around a lot of the panels that we've seen throughout the conference have been very diverse, right? And so that's just an epitome of that. I'm gonna start at the end with Natalie and work our way down. Can you all share how folks can engage with your projects and where to find you?
Yeah, so I am Natalie Trevonne on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, so you can find me there, or you can email our Fashionably Tardy email, which is where we do all our podcast and consulting from, and that's hello@fashionablytardy.com. Again, it's hello@fashionablytardy.com.
All right, and as far as me, for my closing statements, you know, I would like to tell us as an industry that we need to start driving adoption and stop all of this crazy evangelical speculation. Regulation's coming whether we like it or not, okay? So start doing things legally. Follow data privacy laws, follow investor protection laws, file with the SEC, do this right so that all of us can be legitimized. And you can follow me at Punk Racers. Go Flow.
Fantastic. Xander? How could they support you?
Yeah, you guys can support me. I'm actually dropping an NFT. This is it's a portal into another world. It's a 3D NFT. I'm gonna make it available for free. Probably by the end of the day. I had a little bit of problems uploading, but please, it's Xander Love. XanderLove on OpenSea, the Xander Love on Twitter, and Instagram, _Xander Love, as well as LinkedIn, which is my main hub. Just a little bit of alpha for everyone. LinkedIn is that's where most of my relationships with all these people came from. And it's Xander Sims, like the video game with an extra M.
Yeah, you could find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, the Standard channels, and Saatchi Art as well. But I also want to mention we are doing a drop this summer. this morning we just did a press release for our drop coming out in August called Visions of the Future. Jury selected our panel of judges, including our top curators, Monty Preston, Capucin Jenkins, Coburn Bell from Museum of Crypto Art, and Acacia Adesanya, who was also a speaker yesterday, beautiful performance artist and an activist, amazing person. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be 50 one-of-one originals, photography-based, also some video, but mostly photos. And it's going to have a digitals component as well, so that people can also produce high-quality limited edition prints or digital displays of its video. But up to 3 per holder per artwork, so secondary holders are also eligible. So we're really excited about that, and the theme is going to be around the future. It's going to hit on various themes. So as we know, photographers are very much like documentarians. They bear witness to events around the world, and so whether it's war, climate change, race, social identity, those are areas we want our photographers to really hit on. So open call starts today, and I'm done. Thank you.
Rock and roll. Thanks. Let's give them a big hand.
Yes. Thank you all. Feel free to follow us on our socials. We have a free PO-op that we're getting, and it'll be on our socials. Thank you again. Listen, there's a bear market, but guess what? We're all going to make it.
Wag me. We all going to make it.